It's been so long since you smiled. Tell me where you left an empty child. Oh, let's have a feast on those who least expected this. The time is now, I swear we won't regret it. Won't regret it. Yeah, we sleep here under stars in the shelter of the dark. Addicted, addicted. Yeah, when you find out who you are, I'll be watching from afar. Addicted, addicted to this. No, we won't tell a single soul. No. Of every passing night we've sold. Oh, this is our time, our place, a new day is in bloom. Come and see what it's like to just accept it. Yeah, accept it. Yeah, we sleep here under stars in the shelter of the dark. Addicted, addicted. Yeah, when you find out who you are, I'll be watching from afar. We're addicted, addicted to this. Take me to the light. I got tunnel vision signs. I got higher than I like. Too pretentious to rectify. Looking back, I know you tried. No, but does it still possess your life? Let's go out and get electric one more time. Everything in the world could be as we left it.
Welcome everybody to the Talladega Superspeedway for round number 10 of the overall season and race number 2 of the playoffs. This is the Sim Auto Racing Group Superspeedway Series with the Teletrac NAVMAN 200 here at Talladega. $10 will be going to the winner once again this week. And this is going to be a week to look forward to, coming into tonight's race especially, as we take a look at the point standings coming into this evening's race. It is Lucas Cram still continuing to lead the field, with Benjamin Nelson still remaining second place. However, jumping 6 positions up to third place with his win last week is Brandon Hoff. An incredible job last week. Brandon Hoff moves up to third place in the standings, 15 points behind Lucas Cram and 10 points behind Benjamin Nelson. As a result of that, Alan Ballacchino has been shuffled down to 4th. Alex Fox, Colby Wells, and Dustin Schwingle continue to remain 5th, 6th, and 7th. Sean Howell, with a unfortunately not the best race last week, is 8th place in the standings, 4 positions lower than last week. Alex Bell got shuffled down 1 position as well. He's also had issues last week, and same goes for Clint Spillman, although no change for him as he remains in the 10th place position. Welcome to the Racing Line Broadcasting Network, of course. As per usual, it's a pleasure to have you here for this week's race. And it's going to be something to definitely look ahead for as we head into our starting grid for this evening. It is once again Lucas Cram and Brendan Hoff. Now, actually, this time will be starting off in the front row. 3 thousandths of a second behind Lucas Cram is that number 9 of Brendan Hoff. And we already see 4th place being Benjamin Nelson, but who starts on his outside, or inside rather, it is Alex Fox. So at the moment, your top 4 drivers are playoff drivers once again, almost reminiscent of last week at Daytona. And we have the top 5 being playoff drivers. The next row goes over to Luke Parks in the number 3 machine, who you see there on the right hand side of your screen, as well as Dustin Schwingle in the number 7. Looks like the 27 has another new paint scheme for this week, interestingly enough. I think he's planned this a little bit ahead of time. Heading down the order even farther though, all the way down to 7th place, it is the 15 of Alex Bell, who sits in the 7th place position. Sean Howell will start in 8th place. 9th place is going to be the 88 of Clint Spillman. Gavin Jones rounds out the top 10 positions here for this week. Brett Murphy in the number 11 will start in 11th. 12th place, returning back, is Robbie Lyons after he's had some connection issues prior to the playoffs, which resulted in him being shuffled out, unfortunately. Alan Ballacchino in the 02 starts 13th. 14th place is Michael Klein. 15th place we see in the 95, it is Christopher Lewis. Lucas Strayer in the 41 starts off in 16th. The first driver to not take a qualifying time, with Mitchell Mooma in the 07 starting 17th. Colby Wells starts 18th. And it will be the rest of the field going through. Quinn Gingrich originally scheduled to start, which should be 19th, as we have a 19-car field here for this week instead of a 21-car field. But regardless, Quinn Gingrich unfortunately not able to start for this week. Right now, the pace car has started to roll off now through turns 1 and 2, and at this point, it's all anticipation once again. As usual, it is a 35 lap, well, at lap 35, that is the point that the stage will end. Drivers will get their playoff points. Then a caution will, of course, come out. And then we go back underway for the second half of the race. It's a 75 lap race once again for this week. And looking through just to double check everything, yes, that is a 35 lap stage end. And if possible, we get an interview with your stage winner at the completion of the stage as well. In the meantime, as we await the green flag to fly here at Talladega Superspeedway, it's going to be something to, again, look out for as well. Going off the past races that we have had here at Talladega, specifically, your winners were Lucas Cram, Michael Elliott, Sean Howell, Alan Ballacino. So every time we come to Talladega, we've had a different winner all the time. So we could be seeing a fifth different winner here at Talladega. But will that be the case coming into this week? That's for this race to answer. Make your predictions as well as the pace car now pulls off into pit road. Starter has the flag in hand, awaiting the field to exit the trial flush. We will go green flag racing here from Talladega Superspeedway for another 200 miles. Just like that, off turn number 4 we come, and already peeking out to the outside for the lead. To lead the first lap, it's Alex Fox, and he does so just by about a quarter of a car length. And this time he'll move down to the inside, just barely holds off the 33 up on the top side, but manages to get right back down to that low lane right off the start. And you see your entire playoff grid within the top 14 right now. So now this is a matter of time of just getting it to the end of the stage, which is the key thing for, well, pretty much every single one of these races. The end of the stage as well can help out, and who places where will be something to also keep an eye on. And that stage point progression is, of course, your top 10, going from 10 points to first place, 9 points to second place, and so on, all the way down to 1 point for 10th place. So we'll see how this affects the playoff drivers here for this week. Someone looking for that redemption, in a sense, if you can call it that, is the 15 of Alex Bell, looking for at least a better week. So far, he is having a better week. Granted, we're only not even 3 laps into this race, but staying 7th place right there on the inside lane behind the 3 of Luke Parks right now as they go back down the back straightaway. Already making a move up to the top side, it's the 02 of Alan Ballacino. Looks like joining him is the 95 of Christopher Lewis as we ride on board with him, but Lewis will decide, as well as Ballacino will decide, to back off on utilizing that very top lane this early on. And that's going to be something to look out for as well. That third lane here at Talladega, always prominent. Ballacino moves up to the top side once again, making it 3 wide between himself, the 11 of Murphy, and the 88 of Spillman. And I think the 02 may put himself in a bad spot here, as he will get shuffled all the way back now. He was in front of Christopher Lewis in the 95, who you see go by there. That third to last car on the middle lane, I guess, in this case. Ballacino just trying to hang on as he gets shuffled. Now down to 14th, possibly 15th. Maybe even 16th as the 7 goes by. There goes Schwingle, fellow playoff competitor. That is it. Robbie Lyons, in the meantime, dives up to the top side. He's looking to make a safe retreat all the way to the back of the field to join the 02 of Ballacino. Meanwhile, up front, it's still a drag race between the 33 of Nelson and the 27 of Alex Fox. 2 prominent drivers in the top 3 being Cram and Nelson. Fox as well having a strong run, at least so far, this very early on. As you see Ballacino peek up to the outside again in the back left-hand side there on the back straightaway. The 33 and 44, of course, have been absolutely dominant this entire season. They've consistently gotten incredible finishes. And that's looking to transfer over into this race, of course, as well. But the 27, the Fox, is thinking, well, you know what? I want some of this myself. I want one of these top 3 finishes. In fact, I believe he's only gotten 1 as well, while Brendan Hoff has only gotten 2 this season, if I recall correctly. I may be wrong, so I will fact check that momentarily. As this race goes on throughout this opening stage, I should be saying, it's the fact that everyone, well, the lines are relatively even. This is the thing that we saw last week at Daytona as well, is that, well, Daytona 08 to be more specific, is that the outside lane just cannot get a really good run. And oh, by the way, we're about 8 o'clock in the morning in sim time. See Brendan Hoff, Sean Howell as well, pushing Nelson on the outside lane, but to no avail, as well, as always, the inside lane will prevail on corner entry. Taking a look at the gap at the start-finish line the last time by, as Sean Howell goes way up top, looking to cool his engine and possibly just take a safer route. We see the gap between the top 4, all within a tenth of each other. Coming now to lap number 8 here at Talladega Superspeedway, as Lucas Cram has made his way up to the outside lane. He's looking to make a move of his own. The 3 of Luke Parks as well, who we interviewed when he won last time. So he's looking to run his own race, and you see there from the onboard shot is that he had to back off very quickly when Cram dropped down in front of that number 27, the Fox. Ride in car with number 27 as well. I see Benjamin Nelson on the outside as well as the 9 of Hoff. But this is the view, relatively speaking, that the 27 does have. Let's say officially 18 car field here so far, as we are currently 9 laps into this 75 lap race. Stage ends at lap number 35, and only one driver has not started. That is the 48 of Quinn Gingrich, who I believe may have had more technical issues this week, unfortunately, as he had last week. And well, unfortunately, those those technical gremlins, as they're also referred to, are just not giving him any kind of a break. So unfortunately for Quinn Gingrich, he is pretty much out of this race, officially retired in 19th. We may see him later on, but it's up to see how everything goes over on his side. Currently 18 drivers all on the lead lap. From 1st to 18th, the gap is 1.3 seconds. And the last driver on the lead lap is the 38 of Sean Howell, who is all the way back here at the very back of the field, unfortunately. Still within drafting range, though, of that number 5 of Gavin Jones, as well as the 41 of Lucas Strayer. Jones is pushing him as they spin in the back, just as we were looking to get an onboard shot. Strayer gets turned, unfortunately, in the back. Gavin Jones as well got caught up in that, and Strayer got the worst of that, unfortunately. Doesn't look to be too much damage, maybe just a spin. But unfortunately for that 41 and the number 5, both of which will be very, very far off the pace. And Sean Howell may have no help whatsoever, unfortunately. We'll take a look at a replay here, coming off of turn number 2 onto the back straightaway. And unfortunately for that, it was just a push gone wrong at that time. We got the 5 and the 41. Can't really tell. Well, maybe from that angle. We'll have to wait and see from another angle, but that's just incredibly unfortunate for both drivers involved in that. We'll see if we can get a a top-down view of sorts as well. At the very bottom of the screen, the 41 and the 5, bottom right-hand corner of your screen at least. And it looks like, Jones tried to side draft. Unfortunately, that just was not the case. And that definitely hurt Strayer and Jones a lot more than it helped them both. Well, now we are coming back to live pictures currently as we come down the back straightaway, and well, it's been about 2 laps. Somehow a third lane has already formed, and we are back, we are 3 wide for the first time, more consistently 3 wide, I should say, for the first time this race. Lap number 12 coming to lap 13. Nelson currently shown in real time in the lead, and we see there from that camera angle that is true. The start finish line, though, may say otherwise as they come across. That time looked to be Brendan Hoff, and that is the case. He gets moved into the lead at the start finish line. 15 of Alex Bell trying to get in front of the 33 of Nelson. He had the space on the inside, but I can attest to that, is that when you hear that call of inside, you're not sure if that's the person from the middle or the person on the very inside, or if they had moved up. Speaking of which, well, the 44 did move up to the middle line, and he'll have his shot now at the lead as they go down into turn number 3 once again. Just not quite clear on that corner. As we see the 33 just absolutely pushing that 44 throughout the middle. Krem moves down to the inside lane. And he'll go back to the lead at the start-finish line. The 15 in the background, Alex Bell, as well as the 11 of Murphy, getting shuffled back. They move right back down to what is now going to be the, exactly the top line, but technically the middle lane. At least in this case, it is going to be referred as the top line, since, well, that top line has now faltered, unfortunately. And of course, right when I say that, moving right back up to the outside lane is the 15. I think the 7 joined as well. And I know that is the 11 and 30, or 11 and the 97. There is Robbie Lyons just on the very tail end of this group. They tried to make a run off the exit of turn number 2, and unfortunately that just did not work out to their advantage. Almost a little bit of contact between the 9 and the 33. 88 of Spillman gets shuffled out to the very top side, and he has absolutely no help. And there's only one place to go, and that is all the way to the back, unfortunately, for Clint Spillman. Of course, an update on Lucas Strayer, himself and Gavin Jones. Keeping in mind they did make contact a little bit earlier on, about 5-6 laps ago. In fact, we should be able to get an exact lap of that in a few moments, but regardless, they are teamed up. And just as they cross the start-finish line, the field coming off of turn number 4. So they can only stay in front for so long. Let's see exactly if we can get a lap again of that contact made. In the meantime, you can just barely see a speck in the distance there from that camera angle shot off turn number 2. Strayer and Jones are still quite a ways ahead. In fact, if we zoom all the way out, this is going to take a little bit of time, so stick with us here for a moment. But here we see Jones and Strayer. Look off to the bottom left-hand side of your screen, and we should see the field in about 3, 2, 1. We'll have to zoom all the way out. That our FOV is a bit strange, so there's the field, though, just at the start-finish line. As Strayer and Jones just make their way off turn number 2, so quite a ways away are those two. And they do have a little bit of luck as well. At the same time, how long they can stay out front is going to be a question that needs answering. And, well, instead of staying out front, we wonder how long that this top side can stay. Well, up on the top side, as we see the 3, the 15, and the 11 now making a wonderful charge into the front. And it was so close, yet so far for the 3 of Luke Parks that time by. on the entry to turn number 3. Parks, in fact, may be able to get the lap led, but the 15 and the 11 both have absolutely no help. Parks down to the inside lane. He'll get the lead almost by a complete car length there, but the 11 and the 15, again, they have no help on the outside lane. So Brett Murphy in the 11. He's got to push the 15 by a very excessive margin, enough to risk damaging the engine. Keeping in mind that these drivers do have at least one fast repair available to them if need be. Oh, and they might be using it now as the 9 of Hoff goes sideways. Will he hang on to it? He does hang on to it as the field scatters in reaction, going right up to the middle lane in front of the 45, who makes evasive action. That's the 95 correction of Christopher Lewis. And just like that, as quickly as it started, it is over, and now the 9 is sitting at the back of the field with fellow playoff drivers Clint Spillman, Dustin Schwingle, and Sean Howell. And look at that, that was so shocking to the point that the field has pretty much went single file after all that. And I do not blame them, but look at that, they are back fan out already. Alex Bell taking advantage of that down the back straightaway, with a couple drivers right behind him, Brett Murphy being one of them. And they can move down, well, I was going to say to the middle line, but Nelson, indifferent. He doesn't exactly know which lane to choose. Go to the middle to get the draft from the 07, or stay up in the middle lane as they make contact down into the entry of the tri-oval. 16 laps to go until the completion of the stage, as finally for the 33, maybe a little bit of relief and a little bit of relaxation, if you can call it that, here at Superspeedway. Nelson in the lead at Talladega. These guys, well, somebody's got to figure out something soon as the inside lane checks up and they move fan out the inside lane in reaction onto the apron. Somebody's going to have to figure out what lane to choose here, because they're coming up to the field, or to the lap cars of Gavin Jones and Lucas Strayer. And depending on where the field catches up to them, it's going to be something to cause a little bit of detriment here. Unless everyone can sort themselves out, which it looks like they are doing so. Going back now to 2 lanes specifically. 45 of Colby Wells, 27 Alex Fox. The only 2 drivers in the middle lane were trying to challenge for the top 5 positions. You know, 2 of Vallecino is there as well. And we see the 5 and the 41. Will they move up to the top side? Will they move down to the inside lane? Looks like it will be the latter, moving down into the middle lane. Strayer on the apron, just trying to give as much space as possible. Gavin Jones in a little bit of a sketchy place, halfway on the apron, halfway on the track. He does hang on to it, though, and the field just makes it by safely. So we'll see if we can actually get a shot of exactly what had happened here to the 9 of Brandon Hoff just a couple of laps ago, because that was definitely one heck of a save by the 9 of Hoff. We'll see if we can get it momentarily, just about this time now, from the top-down shot, from an aerial shot as well, on the entry to turn number 3. There's the 9, the third car on the inside. He just moves right up on the inside. I don't know if something broke, but the 9, unfortunately, just snapped right up the racetrack. Not entirely sure what happened there, but we'll take an onboard look, as well as an onboard listen, to see what happened to Hoff there. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there with Hoff. But look at this. Somehow he manages to hang on to it. Incredible job. As that was Christopher Lewis that we just saw pass by at the very end of that shot. And now as we go back to live pictures here at Talladega, once again down the back straightaway, Lucas Cram challenging Luke Parks for the lead. Mitchell Muma in the 07 from out of absolutely nowhere, from 17th more specifically, all the way in the back. Oh, someone's going to pit road. That's the 11 of Brett Murphy as well as the 97 of Robbie Lyons. And, well, I don't know if you guys forgot, but I definitely did, is that pit stops are a thing. Murphy very, very hot on pit entry. That may not help him out. We'll see. Of 3 of Luke Parks continues to lead here at Talladega. As the 07 got shuffled back after going up to the very top side, falling back then to the middle, onto what's now the middle lane. 27 of Fox back up front as well, challenging with the help from the 45 of Colby Wells. More drivers going to pit road, one of which being the 1 of Michael Klein, the 15 of Alex Bell, the 07 of Mitchell Muma, who spins on pit entry, and making evasive action is that 44 machine of Lucas Cram. Great awareness so far as pit cycles have now begun. Now we're wondering how many other of these drivers will be going to pit road momentarily. Anticipation rising as everyone off turn number 4 will be single file. And here comes pretty much everybody on the pit road. We may need a blimp camera for this one, as everyone scrambles on the pit road. It's pretty much the entire rest of the top 10, almost 3 wide on pit entry there, and everybody makes it into pit road safely and smoothly. And luckily they do have the majority of pit road to get themselves sorted out, depending on where their pit stall is. Looks like so far so good. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication from one of the drivers from the 27 who was stuck in the middle. Had to slow up a little bit on pit entry. Already down and away. Looks to be the group that actually just pitted last time by the looks of that. Yes, that is Michael Klein. So this is going to be something very, very interesting to see where everything shakes out here in terms of scoring. So hang in here with us for a few moments, as scoring is going to be a little bit crazy for the next 10 or so laps. But Benjamin Nelson currently and officially is in the lead here as they make their way off turn number 4, or turn number 2, I should say, rather, down the back straightaway. And this looks to be the main group that we will be seeing for the lead and the rest of the top 10 going into the completion of this stage. Look at that already. The 15 and the 44 making a great run on the outside lane. Just like I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, 2011 Talladega coming to the finish. Except, well, this isn't for the finish. This is for 9 laps to go until the stage completion. But very reminiscent was that pass on the outside by both the 15 and the 44. Unfortunately, though, they could only hold that momentum for so long. Cram is not exactly sure what to do, as the 1 of Klein will get put 1 lap down. He's currently in the free pass position. He is currently now sitting 16th, as 15 drivers will remain on the lead lap, as the 07 and 11 will be working together on the entry to number 3. On board the 3 of Parks, as we see the 80 of Spillman from out of absolutely nowhere have a huge shot from the number 33. It's going to be 3 wide as Spillman gets shuffled all the way up to the outside lane. Just diving down, chopping the nose off the 3 to block and protect that lead is going to be Benjamin Nelson. And Clint Spillman gets shuffled all the way back now to position number 8. And here with us momentarily is may have had a couple issues with a few paint schemes, but in the meantime, Up on the top side, that is the 07 and the 11, as their paint schemes will load in momentarily once again, as it has unfortunately been reset here. But both the 07 and 11 will get put now one lap down. It is Brett Murphy in that number 11 machine that is in line for that free pass position. Currently, in the meantime, Luke Parks, Alex Bell drag racing with the 33 and 02 behind the 3 and the 15 respectively, pushing them for this battle for the lead. And just a little bit of a explanation to see where we're at by the end of this stage. Coming to the start-finish line, some drivers will be on their 6th lap of the run. Those drivers are Alex Bell and the 44 of Lucas Cram, as well as kind of Brett Murphy, but unfortunately he is one lap down. But on the lead lap, currently now on their 6th lap since they pit, is Lucas Cram and Alex Bell. It's 6 laps to go until the completion of the stage, which means only one thing, and that's that, well, it's a question of do they pit or do they not pit? That could pretty much go for anybody here because the spread is so thin, because it's been at maximum, well, at minimum, 4 laps since anybody has pitted, and 6 laps since anyone's pitted. 4 to 6 laps. And that's about a roughly 12-lap run, as the 15 may be looking to get shuffled back unintentionally here. He moved up to the outside. The 33 gets left to the 02. That's going to leave a line open for the 44 Parks. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a huge crash on the entry to the tri-oval. And way, way too ambitious was Luke Parks with that move, by the looks of that, coming into the entry of the tri-oval. And this is not the completion of the stage. Keep in mind, as the pace car is out, this is not the completion of the stage. And it may be Christopher Lewis that got cycled into the lead. It may have been the 33. We'll have to wait and see. But coming off of turn number 4, trying to protect the outside lane, maybe a bit too much, is the 3 of Luke Parks. And we'll see if we can get a wider angle of that. And, well, this goes to what I said earlier, and that's that these drivers, if need be, do have a faster pair available to them. Apologies for the delay, as we're trying to get the replay up as soon as possible. And here it is. Looking at the 3, the 44 moves up to the middle lane, and Parks just, unfortunately, that's a bit of a late move, unfortunately, by Luke Parks, by the looks of that. That's about maybe an 8-car crash. Somebody slipping through there. I believe that was the one of Michael Klein. That was. Of an onboard look from his view as he caught up to the very tail end of this crash off turn number 2. Turn number 4, I should say. Coming off turn 4, he sees it in front of him. Going through. Wow, that is very, very close. And another onboard look from the 44 machine of Lucas Cram as they came off turn number 4 to bring out the first caution of the day from an actual crash instead of the stage caution. Yeah, unfortunately that was just too ambitious of a move by Luke Parks. And that cost a lot of drivers races, at least in this first half to the stage end. Well, coming now back to live pictures, it is Lucas Cram, Benjamin Morton, Luke Parks, Dustin Schwingle, Clint Spillman, Gavin Jones, Robbie Lyons, Lucas Strayer, Mitchell Muma, who may or may not have all been involved per se. Some may also be repairing repairing damage and changing tires. We are going off of looking to be right now their complete pit stop length. As we go back to live pictures here, Sean Howell got cycled into the lead. Going off of, well, over 30 seconds of pit stops, we can roughly assume that the drivers involved were Luke Parks, Benjamin Nelson, Dustin Schwingle, Lucas Cram, of course, Clint Spillman, who's still sitting in his pit stall, unfortunately, the 1 of Michael Klein, the 5 of Gavin Jones, the 97 Robbie Lyons, of course, we did see at the very tail end of that, did have some contact and a little bit of damage. Strayer and Muma were also involved in that crash, so pretty much everybody except your top 7 were involved in that crash, and that is, well, currently your top 7 being Sean Howell, Alan Ballacino, Christopher Lewis, Alex Fox, Alex Bell, Colby Lewis, Brandon Hoff. Everyone else has just now gotten out of pit road as well, so we will see where everything sorts itself out. But we could be having at least, by the looks of it, maybe a one-lap shootout to the completion of the stage. But again, the stage is not over. It's within 3 laps of the stage end, and that is when it is determined to have the stage be completed. And that is, of course, we were not in that criteria per se. Now the question is, do the lights turn off this time by or next time by? I'll have to wait and see, depending on lap down cars that did get wave rounds. If they did, lights are out on the pace car, only 1 lap under caution, interestingly enough. This is going to be a very interesting start as we come back to a 2-lap shootout to the completion of the stage. If the stage caution comes out in the meantime, and that will be, the caution comes out in between, pretty much the time we get the restart before the completion of the stage, then that will be the stage completion. Luckily, a incredibly quick caution lap. Everyone is back out and on track, all 18 cars. 13 of which are on the lead lap now. Clint Spillman trying to make his way around. He has not used his fast repair yet by the looks of that damage, unfortunately. And it looks like he's just trying to get to the end of the stage, maybe hope for the best. And I don't blame him. That's actually a very good strategy. Wait before the stage caution to use your fast repair. He is the last driver in the lead lap, and all he needs are 3 more drivers in front of him to wreck out to get any kind of stage points. And he's the only driver, well, he's one of the 2 drivers, I should say, outside of the top 10. Himself in 13th and Lucas Cram in 11th. Everyone else is within the top 10. And this, of course, is a shuffle like we have pretty much never seen before, with Nelson and Cram being at the very tail end of the stage caution. Looks like Spillman will be restarting just at the very edge of the top 10 as well, restarting 11th, maybe, by the looks of that. At least in terms of real-time scoring, he'll be restarting 11th. Sean Howell will be bringing the field to the green flag. Christopher Lewis, the 27, Alex Fox may have the best bet. Maybe no damage as well by the looks of this. We'll wait and see. But the starter has the flag in hand. Weighing that agonizingly slow 65 miles per hour through the tri-oval before we let them loose for 2 more laps. Green flag flies once again. 2 laps to go before the stage completion, and Sean Howell gets a great jump, but is it too great of a jump as he moves up, and now Ballacino will stay up on the top side as he looked to move to the inside, decided against that. The completion of lap 35 will be the stage as we are 3 wide. Everyone's making moves. This could be very, very costly for everybody as we go down the back straightaway. Look at that run on the outside by the 45 of Colby Wells and the 3 of Luke Parks. Wells into the lead as a 95 gets shuffled back as well with the 38. Almost 4 wide as we're coming to the start finish line this time by to take the final lap of the first stage. 3 wide mid-pack at the end of the top 10. And to be more specific, that is 3 wide by the looks of that for position number 6. Now 2 wide. That's the 9 and the 7 drag race. Robbie Lyons trying to help. Crash in the back. The 07 crashes on the inside. Can the 38 keep it? Well, he hangs on to it. The 07 slides up in front of somebody else, unfortunately, by the looks of that. Somehow we stay green. It's probably a good thing that some drivers didn't use the faster pair, one being the 88 of Clint Spillman, who looks to be at the very edge of the top 10 here this time by. The 27 and the 02 will be teaming up in these final two corners. The 9 and the 97, watch out for them. They have an incredible run on the top side. Fox dives down low, Cram moves up to the middle, and this time by it's going to be a drag race, maybe through the tri-oval, as the 3 of Parks will push the 45 of Colby Wells to the stage win at the start-finish line, making it 3 wide, as well as the 9 of Hoff coming in clutch with a great second place position. And that is that at the completion of the stage. Colby Wells, Brandon Hoff coming in clutch out absolutely nowhere. He'll nab those next stage points, those 9 stage points. That already, in terms of real time and before the finishing points are applied, that will put him about 1 point behind, I believe, the top 2 in points. Luke Parks third. He doesn't get exactly stage points. Lucas Cram, however, does. Alex Fox, Dustin Schwingle, Alan Balacino, Christopher Lewis, Alex Bell, and Benjamin Nelson in the 33. And those are 2 key names. Lucas Cram, Benjamin Nelson. Nelson not getting 1 stage point. Lucas Cram getting, I believe, 6 stage points. Not 7 stage points. I was correct in the first place. Brandon Hoff, Colby Wells coming in clutch at the very end of that stage. And we'll see if we can get a word in with that number 45 of Colby Wells. It looks like we are not able to, unfortunately, as he is not available on any of the radios. So that is your completion of the stage and the first half of this race. As the field will line up now behind the pace car, we're going to go ahead and take a momentary break, and we'll come back in time for the green flag. This is the Sim Auto Racing Group Super Speedway Series round 2 of the playoffs, believe it or not. And they're acting like this is the final round. We come back to Talladega for the finale as well, but in the meantime, this is round 10, the Teletrac Navman 200 at Talladega Super Speedway. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back to the Talladega Superspeedway here for the Sim Auto Racing Group Superspeedway Series, round number 10 of the overall season, round number 2 of 4 for the playoffs. This is the Teletrac Navman 200 at Talladega Superspeedway. And already we, as you can just probably barely see over there on the right hand side of your screen, those small little dots on the screen, that is the field making their way off and through turns 1 and 2. Dustin Schwingle will lead the field to the green. Colby Wells on the outside. Teammates start row number 1 with Luke Parks restarting 3rd. 4th place is going to be Benjamin Nelson. Clint Spillman has used his fast pair. He'll restart 5th with Christopher Lewis, Brandon Hoff, Robbie Lyons, Alan Ballacino, and Alex Bell rounding out your top 10. And right now we'll see this time by on who will be starting where, finishing where I should say, at the very end of this race. Coming in clutch for that 2nd place position was Brendan Hoff. He sits 7th right now. Can he put himself in that same position by race end? Most drivers, of course, may have used the fast pair already. Who will play, who will gamble, really? Who will play the risky game here as we go back green flag racing at Talladega Superspeedway for the second half of this race? And already shooting down to the inside is the 33 of Benjamin Nelson, wasting absolutely no time whatsoever as the 33. Here comes Christopher Lewis, and the 88 of Spillman moves out to the outside lane. Well, it looks like at the moment everybody's playing the risky game. Everyone moving every which way, trying to figure out, okay, what line is open, what line works. As both Nelson and Parks leave the 7 of Schwingle out to dry, who may have not used his faster pair, or may have used it already, judging by that damage on the left rear, the right rear quarter panel, as we see on board from number 88 machine. You see just how crushed that number 7's right rear quarter panel is. Unfortunately, that's going to be a very huge detriment, as it is 3 wide, about the 4th place position. It's almost 4 wide as the 97 Robbie Lyons is trying to make a move. Both drivers going for the same lane in the 9 and the 97. Luckily, both of them were very, very attentive, and they managed to hang on to it. They managed to not collide midfield. And everything so far is going very, very well for everybody off this start. Except for the 15 of Alex Bell, probably, as he is stuck in the middle with absolutely nowhere to go. A few drivers are outside of the top 10, outside prime position. That is Alex Fox, Sean Howell, and Lucas Cram. Well, in more specific order, Sean Howell, Alex Fox, and Lucas Cram, all 12th, 13th, and 14th, but at the same time, they're in a great position, judging off the fact that, well, they're at the back of this main field. And they can pretty much avoid anything if necessary, such as maybe the 9 almost having a little bit of contact with the 95 of Christopher Lewis. There goes this 45 of Colby Wells down to the inside. Sawhorse almost has this in complete control. Unfortunately, they are missing the number 7 of Schwingle, who is quite a ways back on the inside lane. The 9 and the 02, Hoff and Ballacino, are not giving up. We've seen Robbie Lyons up here at the top of the field before. Will he be able to stick it out to the end is going to be the question. As we make our way onto lap number 43 of 75. Let's take a ride on board midfield with, well, let's go with the number 9 of Brandon Hoff in car. here during that time. And Brendan Hoff was lifting to make sure that he didn't really run into the back of the 15 of Alex Bell. And he also lifted up when he saw the 97 move up to the outside lane in the process. Both drivers of the 15 and the 9 go down into the lower lanes of traffic, trying to save their time and bide their time as the 97 of Robbie Lyons is going to be falling back. And well, who we just switched to? That was the 1 of Michael Klein. He was the last car on the lead lap, unfortunately, running with a lot of damage. Actually going to pit road. No, he's not. Looked like he was. Maybe trying to wait until a later time to use his fast repair. Well, in the meantime, as we await the final few laps, with 30 laps to go, well, don't turn up the volume because we'll do that for you, but, well, let's listen to these next 5 or so laps of just these pure Xfinity engines. Throughout that time, the lead, of course, has been trading back and forth between Colby Wells and Luke Parks, where the inside lane, interestingly enough, as they're not formed up a lot, but they're managing to get a great run off the inside. Look at that. Colby Wells protecting the middle lane, and he'll move right back down to the inside almost completely. Now he does. And at this time by, with 25 laps to go, we look to the final few laps, as well as about 10 laps away from being into the zone of that pit window. So about lap 60, we should be seeing some drivers start to come in. So as we await that time, we're going to be going double wide. You won't miss a single thing here on the Raceline Broadcasting Network. This is the Teletrac 200 at Daytona with the Sim Auto Racing Group Superspeedway Series. Welcome back to the Talladega Superspeedway for the Sim Auto Racing Group Superspeedway Series, round 2 of the playoffs, race number 10 overall of the Teletrac Navman 200 at the Talladega Superspeedway. Currently, it has been a complete whirlwind up front, as we saw partially just off the start of that. And the 07 of Mitchell Muma is not on the lead lap, of course, but he is up here with the lead group. He's trying to stay as the first driver one lap down, maybe even trying to unlap himself. But over the next 20 laps, we're not entirely sure on how well that is going to go. So we will see what happens throughout these next 5 laps before the field goes into pit road. And Alan Ballacino, I'm not sure if he's trying to at least push the 07 or maybe leave him out to dry, but definitely not the best time for Ballacino himself to be pushing a lap down car. But we'll have to wait and see. With 15 laps to go, we should be expecting to see some drivers go into pit road and pretty much everybody throughout the course of those next 5 laps. So from about 15 to 10 laps to go, as Balacino moves high, here goes everybody else. If that isn't a unanimous decision, I don't know what is. Well, apparently that's already being answered as the 88 and the 27 move right back down to the middle lane. So I guess that's not a unanimous decision on everybody wanting to pass the 07, or at least from the top side. But Balacino has now made his way out front. Of course, the 07 Mitchell Muma, he can race the lead cars if he wants to, but right now it might not be the best time, because that is exactly why, as the 02 almost has front nose chopped off by the 33. They almost make contact between the 02 and the 33, but I think to Balacino's relief, the 07 will get shuffled out. That was a very, very close call there off the exit of the tri-oval. Somehow everybody manages to hang on to it. And very rightly so, and I'm pretty sure very luckily so as well. And now the 33 of Nelson is looking for his next win of the season. And Nelson, keep in mind, as the 88 of Spillman nearly unintentionally, of course, doors to the 11 of Murphy, trying to stay behind the 02. Nelson has not won since, well, July 2nd, over a month ago, at the 2008 Daytona iteration, the first time that we went there as well, at the halfway point of the regular season. Ooh, contact in the back, I believe. I thought I just saw somebody go flying up top on the outside lane. Luckily, that's not the case, but the 27 did have a little bit of a bobble with the 88. Everyone's getting pretty dicey here up on the outside, or up in the middle lane now in this case. The outside, the outside / middle lane being led by the 33 and the 02 is starting to very much falter, unfortunately. 15 of Alex Bella moving up in front of the 88 there in the background. Luke Parks, in the meantime, continues to lead with the 95 of Christopher Lewis pushing in. Pit window is relatively open, but when do these drivers decide to pit? Actually, a little bit of a correction. Pit window is not open. Not just yet, at least. We're closing in on that point, though. That does open. I got the numbers mixed up a little bit, so that is on me. Both 15 to 10 laps to go. Again, should be that expected pit window for the next pit stops, because these drivers will be on of their run lap 25 to 30, and that's how long these cars can last, at least on fuel. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see pretty much everybody go for fuel only on this next stop. And well, pit window is open, as that Christopher Lewis is, and only the 95 heard me. And okay, I was about to say Robbie Lyons as well just joins him on the edge of that frame. I was about to say, if it was only Christopher Lewis, he is in massive trouble. Luckily that is not the case, as Nelson moves down to the inside lane to take over the lead after that movement in the back of the field. Possibly not able to make it that entire length of the run was both Christopher Lewis and Robbie Lyons. Last time we had green flag pit stops earlier in this race, we saw 10 drivers go into pit road all at the same time. Will that be the case this time as well? Does anybody go to pit road? Yes, Gavin Jones does go to pit road. Granted, though, he is not on the lead lap. He is one lap down. Currently now sits 17th in scoring, second to last. Well, third to last, officially speaking. So 15 laps to go. The lead field can pit now if they want to. They can run at least one more lap by projection, as Balacino is now up in the lead. Anticipation waiting for these drivers to go into pit road. Who will move down below the yellow line and move into pit road off of turn number 4? Do we have any takers is the question that we should be asking. And that looks to be a very resounding no from everybody here in the top 14. Scratch that, top 13 I should say, plus a couple of lap cars, because that is Christopher Lewis, And here comes the rest of the field. So luckily and unluckily for Lewis, well, luckily he will get the wave around. Unluckily, he will be put one lap down with no help between himself and Robbie Lyons. And going off of, not entirely sure exactly what happened there on pit road, but Christopher Lewis was in pit road for 7 seconds longer compared to Robbie Lyons. Granted, though, Christopher Lewis was also in his pit stall for about 2 seconds longer, so not entirely sure what the holdup was for Christopher Lewis. In the meantime, though, 2 wide for the lead off turn number 2, turn number 4, coming into the entry of the tri-oval. Just watching the laps tick down as pretty much everybody at this track, actual teams, the drivers, 13 laps to go. That window is very, very quickly closing. I'm wondering if they're trying to bank on a caution, but we'll have to wait and see. As the 15 of Bell makes a very risky move, just chopping the nose off the number 7. But there was space available, and he took it. Everyone going single file like this leads me to assume that it's going to be a pretty decent amount of cars going into pit road this time by. At this point, they're just about to extend it. So at this point, pit window is pretty much open. Still, Balacino's the first of the takers. Luke Parks, pretty much everybody on the inside lane this time by. Someone tried to make a move, and they crash. That's Alex Fox and the 07 of Mitchell Muma, and the 27, unfortunately, is not going to be able to make it into pit road unless he does. No, he has enough for the rest, going around at least one more time, but everybody except your top 3, in a sense, has gone into pit road. Trying to figure out what exactly had happened here with the 27 of Alex Fox. So now it's your top 4 that have not gone to pit road. But bad luck for the 27, unfortunately. He is not going to have a very good run coming into this next part, these final laps of the race. I'll see if we can get a replay here of exactly what happened here on pit entry with the 27 and the 07. They did make contact for sure, but wondering exactly what had happened here. Top-down view here off turn number 4. Alex Fox on the 27 in front of the 9. Which the 07 to Mitchell Muma up on the outside of the number 27. 27 moves down, tries to move up, just manages to avoid, and oh my goodness. I'm not sure if Muma was trying to move down into to go into pit road or not. Luckily, this is why we do have onboard cameras for pretty much everybody. Yeah, Mitchell Mimma unfortunately just slowed up in front of Alex Fox, who had nowhere to go. One more look on board Alex Fox from his roof cam off turn number 4. Yeah, that's just unfortunate there. So a lot of bad luck for the 27 Alex Fox, who does not have any fast repairs remaining, unfortunately. At the moment, he looks to be in the worst possible position here out of all the playoff drivers. And he is 14th, the last driver as well in the playoffs, the driver farthest off in the playoffs. And he might be getting put, he is getting put one lap down, and he will get shuffled back. There's Lucas Strayer. Gavin Jones could be making his way around as well. Unfortunately for the 27 of Fox, not the best race for this week. We'll see what happens the next 2 weeks. He does have the next 2 weeks to hope for the best. But will it be enough is the question. In the meantime, it is enough, at least for Brendan Hoff, of a push from the 02 of Alan Balacino and the 3 of Luke Parks to get out into the lead. We have a 5-car breakaway here of your top 5. Clint Spillman and Sean Howell are 6th and 7th. Brett Murphy 11th, quite a ways back, with Alex Bell in 9th. Dustin Schwingle rounds out the top 10. Has not used his fast repair, or he has either not used it or has used it entirely and has only gotten that damage to show for it. Colby Wells helping out his teammate in that number 7 machine as well, as they are 10th and 11th respectively, both Dustin Schwingle and Colby Wells. Will it be 2 in a row for Brandon Hoff? Or will it be another win from Alan Ballacchino here at Talladega? Last time we were here at Talladega, Alan Ballacchino again did win. The same goes for, of course, Lucas Cram. As it looks like the 0-2 and the 3 will get shuffled back here. A little bit of a lane decision there from the 9 and the 33. Not sure what that was. Maybe a little bit of just trying to figure out who was going where. But look at this. Everybody single file now. 8 laps to go. Alan Ballacchino wants his second win. He wants to put himself higher up in the point standings coming into this race. Ballacchino was sitting in 4th place. Can he improve that? Is going to be the question. Same goes for Brendan Hoff coming into this race. Brendan Hoff was 3rd place in the point standings. And with that 2nd place stage finish earlier on in this race at lap 35, at the completion of lap 35, with that slingshot through into the middle, a slingshot through the middle to get that 2nd place position just behind Colby Wells, that's going to drastically shake up the point standings. Even with the 44 and 33 running up here consistently in the top 5, top 3, what have you. Duke Parks, meanwhile, in the meantime, he has gotten a win here in this series. Actually, correction, he's gotten a top 3 position in the series beforehand. Correction on that, he's gotten a stage win before. I got it right one day. But in the meantime, look at this. Top 4, your playoff drivers. Just like the start of this race, it was the top 4 who were all playoff drivers. And seeing a incredibly similar pattern here. In the meantime, as those drivers continue to run a semi-single file with the 0-2 and the 3 trying to work out things between themselves, trying to get a run up on the outside lane, Clint Spillman currently sits in the 6th place position, with Sean Howell sitting in 7th. Brett Murphy is quite a ways back in 8th, with 9th place being rounded out by Alex Bell. That driver just behind Clint Spillman and Sean Howell is Lucas Strayer, who's unfortunately having a couple connection issues, so I think at this point he's just a little bit of a tag-along. And then we have Dustin Schwingle in 10th and Colby Wells in 11th. Christopher Lewis sits 12th, 13th as Robbie Lyons, those two working together as well as best as possible. Lucas Strayer in the 41, as we mentioned before, sits behind the 38 of Sean Howell and the 88 of Clint Spillman. Gavin Jones all on his lonesome, unfortunately, in the 15th place position. Alex Fox in 16th with Mitchell Muma behind him in 17th. And Michael Klein with no help, maybe going another lap down before this race is over. That looks to be the case. Michael Klein sits 18th. Quinn Gingrich sits 19th and unfortunately did not start this race. That's pretty much a rundown of the entire field here, as everyone is just waiting for the right moment. Brandon Hoff is in the worst possible position to have pretty much anything right here, to be running out front. If I were Hoff, I'd take the gamble and just run, move up to the outside lane, drop back behind these 4 drivers, and just sit back and wait for the next 3 1/4 laps. Meanwhile, Alan Ballacchino and Luke Parks continue to try and run the outside lane, but 2 cars versus 3 cars. You can only do it for so long, and you can only do it with so many drivers up on the outside. This looks like Spillman, Howell, Murphy, Bell, they've all came within a distance of each other. So we could be having a second battle here for what's relatively the rest of the top 10. Three laps to go here at Talladega. Only 2 cautions for this race. There's one caution for an actual crash. There's one caution for the completion of the stage. Since then, we have not seen anything yellow related, aside from that inside lane there, throughout the second portion of this race. At times it looked like we thought we were going to see it, and we didn't. There's only, at the start-finish line, one more lap for the yellow to fly before we cross the start-finish line for the white flag, and the race will be determined official no matter what happens. Even if there's a wreck, the race will still finish under green flag conditions. 2 laps to go this time by. Ballacino trying to give it his all, and that's the same with the 3 of Luke Parks. The time continues to wind down. We look back to the second half of this field now, where Strayer has unfortunately been shuffled out. Still having connection issues, barely hanging in there as we see him pop back into existence. Spillman, Bell, Howell, Murphy, they continue to battle for positions 6 through 9, with Schwingle and Wells sitting 10th and 11th. This time by off turn number 4 with the field so spread out. This is it. This is the white flag this time by, and it is already an attempted pass made by Benjamin Nelson with Alan Ballacino behind him. Lucas Cram is going to be pushing the 9. Luke Parks, however, is going to be in this battle behind the 0-2 of Alan Ballacino. Drag racing off turn number 2 this time by as they go down the back straightaway for the final time under race conditions. Benjamin Nelson just almost clears the 9 of Brendan Hoff, and he does on the entry to turn number 3, but Nelson does not want to leave the outside lane open for that 0-2 of Alan Ballacino. Does Ballacino try to make it 3 wide? Does he go up top? Does he go to the middle? Nelson sticks with his line. The 9 of Hoff hoping for a huge shot from Cram, who moves down to the inside lane. Down to the inside goes the third 3 of Nelson's. We'll get a drag race as the 3 pushes the 0-2, and it's going to be a photo finish at the start-finish line. Just by about half a hood is it going to be Benjamin Nelson. Coming to the rest of the field, though, Sean Howell, Brett Murphy, Kobe Wells, Dustin Schwingle. We're missing somebody here. Clint Spillman and Alex Bell, I believe. Somebody got shuffled out of that 6th through 9th battle. So both these drivers will manage to get 9th and 10th place. Kobe Wells and Dustin Schwingle. We'll have to wait and see, actually, as Alex Bell also falls out of existence just as he comes to the start-finish line. Robbie Lyons, 13th. And then the rest of the field, Gavin Jones trying to hold off Alex Fox. Fox trying to get whatever position possible. He's battling the 1 and the 5 for both positions as they make contact. Crash from the tri-oval, and Alex Fox will come through with 15th place. Gavin Jones and Michael Klein spin in the infield coming to the finish. And now it's a matter of who gets to the line first. It will be Michael Klein, although he is 2 laps down, so correction, it's only going to be Gavin Jones that Alex Fox was battling coming to the start-finish line. And there he is, the 33 of Benjamin Nelson. He will burn it down on the apron here at Talladega Superspeedway. A winner once again here in the Sim Auto Racing Group Superspeedway Series for the first time in a month. The winless streak has been broken. And your winner here is Benjamin Nelson as we take a look at your finishing results of this race. Trying to await full completion for the everything to work out properly as Nelson burns it down in the background. It's Benjamin Nelson, Alan Ballacino, and Brendan Hoff, your top 3. We'll get an interview with them momentarily. Luke Parks finishes 4th. Lucas Cram will finish 5th. And then it's going to be Sean Howell and Brett Murphy finishing 6th and 7th. 8th place is Kobe Wells, 9th place is Dustin Schwingle, and 10th place is going to be the 95 of Christopher Lewis. The rest of the field is Robbie Lyons in 11th. 12th place is Clint Spillman. 13th place is Alex Bell. 14th place, Lucas Strayer. 15th place being rounded out by Alex Fox. I'm very surprised that Benjamin Nelson is still managing to keep going with his burnout here. He probably would have burned out his engine by now. Gavin Jones, Michael Klein, Mitchell Muma, Quinn Gingrich round out the 19-car field here. And surprisingly, Benjamin Nelson's engine has made it through an entire burnout like that. That's absolutely incredible. Unfortunately, again, Quinn Gingrich, some reason scheduled to start 21st, but started 19th and unfortunately did not start this race. And that pretty much almost does it for this race. We'll be back momentarily with an interview of your top three, being Benjamin Nelson, Alan Ballacchino, and Brendan Hoff, when we come back here to Talladega Superspeedway for the completion of the second round of the playoffs. Benjamin Nelson has earned himself a nice $10. I could probably use it on some more Iverson content if he's already not part of the 100% club. But in the meantime, we'll be back momentarily with your post-race interviews of the Teletrac Navman 200 here at Talladega Superspeedway.
Coming up to the line, being chased, and it was Braden Johnson. Unbelievable finish. It was 1/1000th of a second between them.
Green flag in the air. We are racing in the 2020 24 Hours of Daytona.
They go door to door for the feature race lead here on the last lap of the race. Side by side for the race lead in the final corner at Homestead.
Down the back straightaway, 3 wide again for the race lead. This is unbelievable stuff here tonight.
Aloma is going to have to be very deep on the brakes, and he is very deep on the brakes. It's side by side through the corner. This is for the win.
It'll be side by side. Davies low, Ottinger high. To the very inside is Garrett Lowe. 4 wide at the stripe. For all his whip here on this outside line, neck and neck. Who's going to back out? Does anyone back out? Verstappen starts to squeeze on the inside, and now he'll try and straight line it. Goes under the apron. Drag race to the line. It's so close to call.
Welcome back to the Talladega Superspeedway here for your post-race interviews of the Sim Auto Racing Group Superspeedway Series with the Teletrac Navman 200 here for this week. We're about to get pretty much right underway with your post-race interviews here in just a couple of moments' time once we just double-check everything. But in the meantime, your post-race interviews, well, we're going to be starting off with the number 9 of Brendan Hoff, and We'll see if we can get him in here momentarily as well. Starting off with the last driver on the podium, but well, no one ever said that starting or finishing in third, I should say, was ever a bad thing. Brandon Hoff, once again, you bring it home for a third podium finish, I think in a row, if I remember correctly. And in fact, yeah, might actually be correct with that. But a great race for you this week.
Yeah, it was pretty eventful. Lots happened tonight. Started with that early incident that I got into Allen there. I kind of zoned out a little bit, couldn't hold my line, and gave me damage from the start. I don't know, that was like lap 15 or so, but had to overcome that and try to drive my way through the pack. And didn't take my quick repair until the final stop, and positioned myself perfect. I was hoping, I knew I was a sitting duck leading. I knew what they were going to try to do, but I knew I was going to come out with the top 5 as long as I just held my line and didn't do anything dumb. And that's exactly what I needed. Sadly, I only probably gained about a point or 2 on Lucas, so that puts me, I think, like 13 back or something. But it was a fun race. I'm happy to come away with third. Again, fairly clean. I know we had that one big wreck at the beginning, but other than that, it was a clean race, fun race, and yeah, glad to bring it home third.
And heading into the final 2 races of the season, of course, it's definitely something to watch out for. Going back to Daytona next week as well, luckily, and well, in some cases, luckily, especially a little bit, of course, a more 2-lane track, sometimes 3 if people decide to push it that way. But your thoughts heading into Daytona for the next race?
Yeah, I haven't had very good luck at new Daytona this season. I know old Daytona is where I won last week, but yeah, same strategy. Like I've said the last 2 weeks, try to run up front, get as many stage points as I can. Maybe win a pole. I know Lucas is kind of racking up those pole points. It's kind of getting, tough for us to catch him in the points. But we got 2 races to go. Just gonna try to go out and win again. If not win, get top 3 like I did the last 3 weeks, and hopefully gain enough points to where I can be within striking distance going into the final race. And anything can happen. I know we only had like 17, 18 cars tonight, but hopefully the car counts improve. We can have more more guys race, and it'll be a good race the last 2. It'll be fun. And I think the same guys will be up front. We'll all be racing it out, but it'll be fun. Looking forward to it.
You did mention getting stage points, looking back again at that final run to the stage and splitting it 3 wide through the middle, somehow edging out to get that second place position for that completion of the stage. So, of course, an incredible race for you overall. So before we go ahead and let you go, anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, as always, Great Motorsports, they do a lot for me. Everybody in the Talkable channel, they help me out a lot. Personal note, today has been a rough day for me. Early this morning, my brother had emergency surgery, or had to go in for emergency surgery. He had an intestines issue. Had major surgery this afternoon for about over 3 hours, and luckily he's doing well now. He's he's resting. He'll be home in a few days, but rough day overall. And I needed a race like this to ease my mind, because mentally it's been rough, but luckily, everything's improving. He's fine. Had a good race tonight. So looking forward to next week. And thanks as always, Gary, for the broadcast.
Well, thank you for your time. Good to hear that your brother is doing well in the process. I've also had intestine surgery. It was not fun as far as I know, but
yeah, no, it wasn't fun.
I was about 2 months old then, so.
Yeah, he's 21, so not fun.
Well, hopefully he has a smooth recovery, and hopefully we get to talk to you again in the meantime for next week.
All right. Thanks, Gary. Look forward to it.
So that is Brendan Hoff, and yeah, again, can't say, had intestine surgery before a long while ago, and again, as far as I know, it was not fun. Had emergency surgery at one point last year as well. Also was not fun. So, yeah, definitely does take a mental toll out of you, and it's really good to have something like this to really ease somebody's mind. Just have a little bit of relaxation, a little bit of more comfort knowing that everything is relatively going okay. In the meantime, we are going to be talking once again to the O2, finishing appropriately enough in position number 2, Alan Balacino, although who I'm pretty sure is pretty much itching just for another win once again this season.
Yeah, I was trying to win there, but it's just, just trying to do what I could do there to get up front. It got, it was just a waiting game there at the end.
Of course, from what we've seen the past, well, pretty much season at this point, you are absolutely no stranger to being one of the few drivers to willingly want to run the top side almost every chance possible. But absolutely incredible run regardless. And well, throughout this entire race, we had 2 cautions in the first half and then a green flag run the second half. So walk us through pretty much your entire race as well as that second half with the field being split up.
The whole goal of this racing is just trying to get to that front pack at the end there because they're going to get spread out after pit stops. So, just executing on the pit stop there and then just making it work is the biggest thing. Staying in the pack, staying where I was supposed to be up front. That's how you get up there and finish top 3 or second or first in these types of races. So it's just hit your marks and you'll be fine type of deal.
Heading into the next race for this season, well, more specifically, at least the last 2 races of this season, what are your thoughts? Because especially with you pulling, again, another podium finish pretty much out of a hat. Again, we've seen you consistently run about the top 10, top 5 throughout the race, and sometimes bad luck strikes, sometimes great luck happens for you. So what are you hoping for in the next couple of weeks?
I'm hoping to win the next 2 and get good stage points. I want to win this championship, whatever it takes. I'll try to do it.
Hopefully,
that's my goal.
Hopefully that is the case, especially with pretty much everyone clamoring and how close the points will be pretty much after this race as well. So before we go ahead and let you go, who'd you like to give a shout out to for your second place finish?
I'd like to give a shout to those guys up front there, Lucas, Ben, Brandon, Luke as well for staying up there. Everybody's staying together just to break away from the second pack.
We're going to go ahead and let you go. Congratulations once again on your second place finish. We hope to talk to you next week.
Thank you.
That is the O2 of Alan Balacino finishing in the second place position. And now we move on to, I feel like I'm having a little bit of deja vu here, but I feel like I've said this before as well, but we're moving to, again, somebody who has no stranger to being interviewed in the top 3. It's Benjamin Nelson once again, but this time, at least, luckily for him, his third race of the season, or his third race win of the season as well.
Hey, what's going on?
Well, let's see. Double checking. Again, yeah, third race win of the season. I'm pretty sure, not entirely sure how many podiums that you've gotten this season, if I recall correctly, but going off the top 5s, with you having 6 of those, I'm pretty sure I could correctly assume that all of those were podium finishes. But again, pulling a wonderful, wonderful win once again out of pretty much nowhere. It's been a month since you last won, Ben, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty relieving for you to be back in victory lane once again.
Yeah, I mean, the point struggle is hard with the playoffs right now, but it's definitely good. Winning helps a lot. Winning helps everything. So, it's just it's so hard to get a run with those cars. They're so even. They're like side by side the whole time. The set really didn't do very well at that track. I think we needed a different one, but it was all right. I obviously I'll take the win. I'm not going to complain too much about that. I just need to basically figure out how to qualify. So I need to qualify up front or more up in the front, like the pole. I really need the pole for the next 2 races. That would be very helpful in the points. So it's really just going to be a scrap to the end for all the stage points we can get. Every single position is going to be worth something.
Especially with heading into, of course, the final two races of the season. Of course, again, you are pretty much no stranger again to winning at both Daytona, well, especially Daytona, actually, I should say. Double checking just to make sure over on my end. And yeah, your first win here at Talladega, so you're no stranger to winning at Daytona for sure. So your thoughts heading into, especially that being a night race as well as the last time, and the first time actually you won at Daytona.
Yeah, I like Daytona. It is a bit more cramped than Talladega, but I like it because it's a bit more challenging to go three wide than it is at Dega, and when you do, it tends to be a bit more rewarding if you can get it right. So it's just a bit more intense because you're closer together. You have really no choice but to be closer together, and I don't know. It's just something magical about the place. I seem to find my way to the podium quite often there, so hopefully I can do it again.
And hopefully that will be the case, especially heading into the next 2 weeks of the season. Technically 3 if we're counting the All-Star race, but 2 weeks of the actual season plus the All-Star race as an exhibition event. But heading into next 2 weeks is going to be something to really look out for. So before I go ahead and let you go, anyone that anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to for your race win once again?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to my team that I race for Road to Pro, and definitely because they do so much to help me out. Um, we're sitting in a decent spot in points for that, like around 12th, and we need to be top 20 to make it. So they're putting in work and it's paying off. So hopefully we can make it back into the Pro Series and get back up to the Coke Series, just like I did in 2019.
Hopefully that will be the case heading into my brain stopped for a second into next season for Road to Pro, but hopefully you round out this season as well to end off on a high note. But in the meantime, we hope to talk to you again next week.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And that is Benjamin Nelson. And well, looky here. Before we go live, or before we end the broadcast, a little bit of an update, considering that the point standings have just been updated to the surprise of probably everybody. The top 4 has not changed one bit. Seriously, I'm not kidding. The top 5 has not changed, or top 4 has not changed one bit. It is still Lucas Cram, Benjamin Nelson, Brendan Hoff, and Alan Ballacchino in your top 10. The point spread is just a little bit larger, and in fact, well, good timing for that to drop out. But if we take a look here at these point standings here, we see that at most, between first and fourth, the point spread is 21 points. Heading into next week, the point spread is a staggering 23 points. So that's pretty much it. It's a very, very minimal change. So heading into next week, unfortunately, we're not able to update this live, but to give a little bit of a look into next week, is that, well, Lucas Cram and Benjamin Nelson are now separated by 6 points. Brandon Hoff is now 13 points back from the lead, and Alan Ballacchino is now 23 points back. And it's been a little bit of shuffling in the 5th to 10th place or so of the field. And we will, of course, update that accordingly heading into next race for playoff race 3 of 4. Just seeing that, unfortunately, the error in the graphic is playoff race 1 of 4. Again, this is playoff race 2 of 4. But next week, well, we don't really have to worry about that because it's going to be, obviously, the second to last race of the overall season. And that is when we head back to the one and the only Daytona International Speedway. So really looking forward to that, going back to the World Center of Racing for another night race once again here on the Racing Line Broadcasting Network with the Sim Auto Racing Group Superspeedway Series. This race has been the Teletrac Navman 200 here at Talladega. Brendan Nelson naps himself another $10, and we look forward, I should say, to next week's race at the Daytona International Speedway. Good night from Daytona as the points continue to barely shuffle. We'll see if there's anything going to change next week.